Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. If you're just tuning in, you are very much welcome. If you're a new subscriber, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning back. I do not take you guys for granted. Thank you so much indeed. It is so lovely to have you back all here. So, in today's video, we are going to be having an important and a sensitive topic today. And with me, I'll be having a very important guest. She is a very delightful one at that. She is a perfect fit for us a perfect person to discuss with us in about this particular topic, right? And yeah, so we already have I on the studio. I'm just going to add her up. But before then, I just want to let you all know that this is quite a sensitive topic that most couples don't like to talk about, right? But it is very necessary that we get to know about it and get to figure out ways we can be able to deal with them. So my guest is here to discuss about this topic that is dealing with intimacy issues or challenges in the bedroom, right? So just get ready, just get yourself ready, right? You will see in my description you will see in my description her biography. She's by name Mrs. Hadiza Patrick-Otoro. Yes, she is the actor's wife. Yeah, if you know what I mean. All right, yes. So we have her in the studio. She is a sex therapist. She is a relationship coach. And so if you have any questions pertaining to relationship, marriage, sex, just put it down in the comment section and she will be glad to help you. Or you could just tell me about it and I could give you her contact, her where you how you could reach her to get consultation and all of that. It's a great privilege to have her on my channel. So I'm just going to add her up now because she's been waiting. So yes, I'm just gonna add her up. Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening to you, Naomi. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, ma?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much
How
for
was your
having me.
day?
It was
I
wonderful.
am the one to say so, ma. Thank you so much for accepting to be on my channel. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
Yes. So we don't want this video to be super long, even though I know it's going to be an interesting one that I wouldn't want to stop. But yes, we're just going to go right into it. Um, would you like to introduce yourself briefly before we go ahead with?
I think you've done justice to it.
Okay.
A relationship, premarital counseling, and marriage enhancement counselor in combination of about 24 years. I
Yes.
served in church for 18 years in that capacity. And
Wow.
of course, you know the diplomas I have in such areas. And I have a passion for relationships way before I got married. And God helped me to figure it out in my own way for my own self and to be able to help others. But I'm passionate about the woman and finding her place and knowing what is hers to win. And so that's
Hmm.
who I am. I've been a radio, TV, and radio presenter most of my life. So
And that's
that's
how I got to know you from the radio station, WEfm to be precise.
basically
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Okay, so we're just going to get right into it. So one of the questions I have here is intimacy challenges can arise from various reasons. And could you share with us some of the common factors that might lead to these issues in the relationship?
I think every other one I may point out at would stem from one thing, especially for us in our country, in our society. It's culture. Our culture, and when I talk about cultures and traditions, are coming from man-made cultures and traditions that were handed down. And when you hand out or hand down an information that's not written, researched, or debated, of course, you know, people are going to be one-sided about it. And that would be the prominent person or the person with the more power, especially when it comes to earning power, would actually twat that. So having said tradition, let me break it down a bit. So we come from a place where women were first, they were not married, they were gotten first as slaves, they were won at battles. Someone will fight with his neighbor and say, if I win, I get your daughter. Women were acquired like animals to produce children and to help with domestic work in the house. They were not seen as partners in progress or anything like that, or out of love. It was basically for labor and for production. And so we've carried on with that mentality and tradition in one way or the other, whether we're conscious of it or we're not conscious of it. So we have children we're bringing up, and you say, don't do this. When you get to your husband's house, I hope you don't behave like that. Don't get your husband's. So you have a slave mentality sent into your head that when I am all a woman to become a wife. And then we start to have discussions like, if a woman does not do sex well, she's not, the man will go out and look for sex. She does not do this, Then the men are given the idea that every woman must be subject to sex, whether she likes it or not. After all, so you see the slave master mentality just passed on, but in a very subtle way, and it goes on. So we come to this generation where they're educated people, exposed people, and you're thinking, oh, it's going to change. And you think, oh, we're liberal. So let's look at the spiritual one. The spiritual one is that a lot of scriptures are being manipulated by people who want to take advantage of minors and people who are less than them. You see preachers preaching against sex when they have a problem in their house. Instead of to settle it, they come to settle it by speaking about their particular problem. And every young man there and every married man will take it like, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. And then you see men who don't have good sexual orientation from their background are preaching a word that we do not understand or have common knowledge about. Then the women also, a woman who is lucky or blessed to have a good man and who doesn't really bother about sex or how she does it and she gets away with it, she begins to become the example or the teacher of sex in a spiritual place, which is the new slavery we have, unfortunately. Instead of religion to free us from traditions and slavery, it has enslaved us into another slavery of another person's ideology, not necessarily not the word of God, but the interpretations of man to the scripture. So it becomes a burden. Some weeks ago, I read on a lady's page who also talks about sex, and a pastor sent her a warning or something and said to her she should stop corrupting women's mind, and she stopped making women have expectations. A woman is not meant to enjoy sex. She's an object for a man to enjoy. In 2023, a pastor. So you can imagine that already have subjected every woman in his congregation to think of sex as something that is a sin. And she must lie down and just let the man enjoy himself. And then she gets up and says, thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. That's slavery. Then the other part of it is the fact that people are being raped. And so that interprets sex for them. And then we have a circle of silence. So you don't tell anybody, you tell your parents they'll beat you for going to the uncle's house or going to the auntie's house. I know a lot of guys who everybody think, oh, he can have sex and all that. I've said this. I think the majority of men don't even know how to have sex versus the women because they learn it the wrong way. So information. So basically, that would be the issue that we have. So you can imagine a girl coming from the mentality of, I'm a slave, I just lie down there, he just does and he goes. And then with this one who has been taught to rape or who was raped himself and was not taught the right way, and then they come into a bedroom, we have a problem.
Total disaster.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think mostly the culture aspect for me, I think, and then the spiritual one as well. Most people are always influenced by the pastors, so to say. So they always trust that whatever they say is right.
Yep.
So I think that's why we have to change that aspect of life, right? So to say. Okay, so open communication is crucial when addressing intimacy issues, right? How can couples initiate this conversation in a sensitive and non-judgmental way? Because I think that's one of the main reason why people will not want to like share anything pertaining to sex, fear of being judged. So what are the strategies one can use to um make communication more easier?
First and foremost, I think before you get married, that conversation needs to be held, because before couples get married, there's some sort of non-judgmental atmosphere around them, especially in Nigeria. Like I said, when they're girlfriend, boyfriend, they're more open. People say their mind before they get married, and then the Mrs. or the Mister or the marital burden
Okay.
becomes is where you are judged for everything, to say whether you're a good wife or you're a good husband. So it's
Mm.
best before you get married. So premarital counseling, like people who come from my premarital counseling classes, I actually use two classes to discuss sex, because I don't want to leave any stone unturned. We talk about your past, we talk about how you started sex. I always tell them I'm not going to be shocked at anything I'm going to tell me, whether you were raped or you were taught the right way, whether we need to know, because this is the only opportunity your partner may ever be honest with you, because I'm
Mhm.
there. I say that to say that it's best, if you're going to have that conversation, if you are truly honest about it, seek a therapist and have a third party. It's a non-judgment space, because between the two of you, unless you are truly, truly open and willing to talk about it, it's going to be a bit dicey, and some of your past is going to be a problem. It's good to
Mhm.
talk about past when it comes to sex, and not to be judged. And that's why I say it before the marriage. So if a person is going to walk away, let them walk away. Let them know
Yeah.
what is your orientation, and then what can we do now? What are the changes I'm going to anticipate and stuff like that? So that's the first thing I'm going to say, really. So, in having that conversation, if you are honest and you truly want to make a way forward, your wife is just lying down there like cold fish, or you just go in there, you a few minutes later you are done and you have dusted and you're gone. She just is lying down there, and you are feeling unsatisfied. She's feeling very frustrated and probably in pain, because she's resisting you. Her nerves, her body is resisting you as a man. Uh, then you need to be honest. I say this to people: if you don't talk to a therapist, as mean you don't want people to know your problem. It's a make or break thing. Let's have that discussion. Let's see if it's going to make or break us. Already, we're
Mm.
broken. So you need to sit down and have an honest conversation. I want to know how you began sex. What was the information your parents gave you? What did you think about sex? What were you told about sex? Who told you about it? What was your experience? Not necessarily how many people have you slept with. No, that is not what we're talking about. If you can know the genesis of someone's sex, you would know if they had had several partners or not. If you just would know. If you're a jealous person, I don't want to know what's going on, then unfortunately you're going to have to deal with living with that kind of person. But
Mm.
you can go for individual therapy. There's a hospital I usually help out with their patients, and who have such issues. So some people come with fertility issues and so on, and I'm called in to do counseling for them, because when the doctors find out everybody's fertile, what's the problem? Then they call me in. You will shocked to know that the man will say, I'll sleep with you once a week just so to fulfill all righteousness. Some men have not slept with their wives for 6 months. Not that they sleep with anybody else, because it's boring. And she's afraid every sex episode is a rape all over again, is an information given to
Mm.
her mother saying, touches you, you get pregnant. Or the day a man touches you, blah, blah, blah. So the information stays there and scars her and him also. So it's really important that you have that conversation. There are times that the two of them don't really want to talk about it. I've met a situation where the man didn't want to know how she started sex. So I had to have it. I had a conversation separately with the woman, and then I had with him separately, so that her information is just with me and he doesn't need to details. They just need the help, and that's it. So if you can't
Mm.
handle jealousy, you need to get a therapist. Let one person go and get their head in the right place. Then where you need to come in, you will be brought in and have that conversation where you need to help this person moving forward. So the conversation is not even an option. It's not an option. It must be done.
Very important. Yes. Thank you very much. Sometimes differences in desire can cause tension. What strategies can couples use to bridge the gap and find a balance that works for both parties?
Okay, so to very honest, that's one area that I find very concerning, is the fact that couples are not um what's the word? They're not care is the word is not caring. Um they do not look out for each other's good when it comes to sex. So a man wants to have oral sex and the woman does not believe in it because she was brought up in a circle where oral sex will not be done. A woman
Mhm,
just discovered other women are doing having oral sex and that they're getting satisfied by having oral sex. The man is like, no, it's not going to work, not in this house. There must be a place of balance. Oral sex is not always that somebody's mouth is on somebody else's sexual organ. It could be the hand. There's several ways oral sex can be carried out that people are not aware of. There's several ways. There's several ways that oral sex can bring satisfaction. And for some people, that is what they need because that is the information they need, or that's the part they need. But when someone has the sexual preference and you say no, is wrong, and you judge that person, you've taken away the person's ability to be free with you or to see this as an intimate our thing to do together. So I would say compromise is may not work for some people, but you find a way out, find a balance, find a balance. Okay, I can't put your um sexual organs in my mouth. What will I do? I'll use my hand. It would work. I mean, our hands are always all over each other's body, so why not? Is when you desire that everything you want must it be done to you the way you want it, then there's a problem. You're
mhm,
not considering the person. And I know I believe that the scriptures have always said, be considerate of one another. When we read that scripture, we read it to talk about our neighbors, work you, markets, but we never look at our spouse. The biggest religion you will preach, whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, or a pagan, is the one we see you preach with your family when we're not there. If your family can actually stand up, talk about you, or testify about you, and say, truly, this person fulfilled this scripture and fulfilled this scripture, then we know you have truly worked the work you're doing. I don't think I've ever discussed with anybody, especially if you're a Christian, concerning anything, even sex, that I have not brought the scripture for you to understand that everything is about balance. For everything in life, there's balance, and don't judge anybody with about their sexual preferences because you've not walked in their shoes, you've not
mhm,
understood it. And then another thing about preference is that you need to change your orientation. Sometimes don't stay in that small place. That's why we go to school. That's why we travel. I tell people if you travel between here and Akwanga, you've gained knowledge. You are better than a person who has not been to Akwanga. You are better. If you go to Jos, you are better than a person who has only been to Akwanga. You've now moved to Jos. If you travel to Lagos, you've gained more knowledge than someone who has just gone to Akwanga because traveling does that. So it's education. If you read a book, you're better than someone who reads a page. If you attend a seminar, you're better than someone who did not. So education does not necessarily mean a degree, a diploma. It means to be exposed to be open to learn new things. So exposure
mhm.
is to things. The least you can do as a partner is read about oral sex. Go and research. Go and research about even what the scripture says. Just do the research for your own benefit first and change your mindset. Then you can be a better partner.
Right. Thank you very much. I love the part you said we have to change our orientation. I think most people still have the mindset of the past, what they learned from the beginning of time, and instead of getting knowledge, either through seminar or through this platform like we are doing right now, they don't they just don't do that. It's I think it's high time for people to start doing that. It will help a lot of marriages grow and
I
flourish. You begin to hear more positive outcome instead of the negative aspect of sex. Thank you
That's
so
true.
much. Yeah. So rebuilding trust involves open communication, empathy, consistency, and seeking professional help if necessary, right?
Yes,
So creating a safe space for vulnerability includes active listening and non-judgmental support.
yes.
So, excuse me, I'm sorry. I just mixed it up right now. So physical approach. What am I? The physical and emotional changes over time can impact intimacy. How can
Mm.
couples adapt to these changes when maintaining a strong and fulfilling communication connection?
Okay. Yeah, so I always say this. I discovered in my years of counseling that, we talk about love language, love language. They ask you to read books about love language before you get married, love language. So the truth is that nothing stays permanent when it comes to emotions. So you find people in love, they can barely stay a day without each other. You see someone you're in love with, feel like you should swallow them because and then all of a sudden you're irritated by them, you can't face, you can't stand them, you can't talk
Mhm.
with them, and so on. It's change. And that's because we've not been able to adapt to change. I've said this, there's nobody in a loveless marriage. I don't care if the person says, I don't love you. Love is a fleeting feeling. Even the scripture says it means it runs. So it's like that keeps us, is the thing we do that keeps a person around, and the sense of responsibility and integrity to stay because you said I will stay for the rest of my life. That's what keeps a marriage. People say friendship. Sometimes there isn't even the friendship until they're much older and they've discovered that, oh, you know what? I don't have any other friend but this person knows me in and out. But when
Mhm.
you see them outside, what keeps them going is the fact that they have realized that I'm getting older. I can't be jumping up and down. I promise to stay here. I'm going to stay here. I have a responsibility to stay here, and I'm going to adapt as I go on. So when it comes to communication and sex in that area, your love language changes. When you marry, assume you marry at the age of 25 or 30, your love language is gifts. Gift receiving, gifts giving, gifts, give, they give you chocolates. Oh my God, he loves me. You know? Then after a while, he gives you gifts. You're like, is this all I'm worth? Do you understand?
Right.
Say, I'm in a loveless marriage. And then he is angry at you that he's giving gifts. You're not being appreciative. What does she want? I
Mhm.
give her everything. Hey, she's a very wicked. Everybody outside say, this woman is so, what do you call it? She's not grateful.
Grateful.
Here on the other side, you, the girl who before, if you just walked past him, oh my God, he can't wait to touch you. And then you are passing and he's looking at you like, it's not because they don't love you or because she doesn't love you. Their love language have changed.
Have changed.
Now she would appreciate a full conversation, like sit down, let's talk. You ask her, how's your day? She say, Clara, you say, hey, Clara touched you. That what happened? Don't mind her. But I say, you woman, you can call her, please, I don't like that, I don't like talking to you. She'll be angry at you. If you give her a gift, she's like, gift is not what I want. I just want someone to listen to me. I want someone to talk to
Right.
me.
Right.
Before she would walk and do everything in the house, now you come, the house is untidy, and you don't even help to move your shoe from point A to point B. You can buy her a car and she will still react as if you did not do anything, because her love language has changed. Now she has responsibilities, she has children, she has to cook, she has to go to work, she has colleagues, she has this, she has that. Monday she's in this meeting, tomorrow she's in church meeting, Wednesday she's in that, next month she's in this, and you're not helping in any way. She's not going to love any gift you give her because her love language have changed. The man, if before you could cook and impress him and he's always bragging about it, now all he wants is for you to lie down in bed, find the time to move away from these little children who have become your little gods, that you are feeling like everybody is going to give you an award for being mommy Jessie, and be over and be like, the kids are crying, the kids are, this children, he touches you. I'm tired. I was backing the children. And you say, but my mother had 6 children. And she was okay. And you, 3 children, 2 children, you are shouting. And then you go like, he doesn't love me. He doesn't. No, his love language have changed. He needs an intimate person. He just want to talk, someone to cuddle, someone to also put him as if he's the first son.
Hmm.
say there's no. So when it comes to that, you need to look closely and say, have I changed? I've always liked sex, taking the time and everything. Do I want it now quickly? Do I want to have more intimate time, like let's take a bath together, give each other a massage? Do I want the lights dimmed? Okay, if I want her to be stress-free, do I want to put the children to bed? Discuss with her, what can I do in the evening to make sure you are always relaxed when I get home? She says, can you come a little earlier and put the children to bed? Can you help me do this, sort this out? Just do that. That communication. And at that point in time, when you consider the fact that a person is no longer impressed by the suya you bring back every day or the perfume you bring back, you need to find out what has changed. It isn't that there's somebody out there. It isn't that he's loving somebody else, that he's not talking to you. It's simply because you're not speaking his language. If I came to you now, sorry, where are you from, Naomi?
I'm from FCT.
Okay. Okay, so you're Baggy, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so do you speak Baggy?
Yes.
Oh, impressed. All right. So as I came to you and I said to you, Naomi, Ekaro, and you don't know what Ekaro is, what do you do?
I will just
Nothing.
be silent.
If I say Fumilowo, if I say Shogbadun, nothing. These are the few
Nothing.
Yoruba words I understand, by the way. I don't use languages. So I come to you and I say, what's a Mirim? You be like, it's the same thing with love language. You can come and cook all the delicious foods. Your husband will have fresh food every day. And he has changed. You say he's one woman cooking for him outside. Is that girl in his office? It's not. He's no longer impressed with your food. He has eaten the food. It's okay. All he wants for you is settle the house, get ready, and come. Let's spend time together as a couple. I'm trying to drink my beer. I don't, in my show, I'm sorry, in my show, I don't talk religion too much because you know what? I'm not in a place to judge you for drinking your beer or anything. All I'm here is to solve your problem. So please, when you invite me to your church, I'll talk churchy, but when I'm in public like this, everybody. So there's a fairness. He wants to drink his beer. Have you put beer in the fridge for him? You met him drinking his thing. Leave him. Like I said, don't be his deliverance. Every person knows their stopping points. Don't say, I'm not putting beer in this house. It's against my who made you assistant Jesus? Put the beer in the fridge. He comes back, open it, keep it there, sit down, curl up, get your coke, sit down, say, so how was your day? Eventually he'll go to the beer parlor because do you understand? So it's the same thing with
Yeah.
sex. It's the same thing with sex. Let's not pretend like your house is not generally your place of spiritual demonstration and bravado. Nobody is impressed. We look at the way you treat us every day and the way you consider us for us to believe that you are a believer or that you know what you are talking about as a religious person.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that illustration. Thank you so much. You made us to understand this aspect very well with that illustration. It was nice. Thank you so much.
So
So exploring new avenues of intimacy might be daunting. Can you suggest ways couples can introduce novelty and experimentation into their relationship?
okay, so this is very simple, and this is the part I like. And if I want to
Okay.
begin my whether I'm is for a married couple or intending couple, I love this part because I give them work to do, I give them assignments to do, and they submit to me as in. And I like it when they're married couple already, and I'm doing counseling for them. I give you work you have to submit every week. So we have what we call the my day. So my day in sex, you can have sex every day anyhow we want, but this one day in a week is for someone. So this week may be yours. But if you are very busy people and you can only have it once a month, fantastic. So if it's the man's day, you decide how sex is going to be. Are we going to have it in the parlor, in the kitchen? Are we going to go to a hotel? However, I want you to dress. Are we going to have bath? If it's a woman, okay. So today we're going to go get both massages. I don't want to be the one to massage. You get professional masseuse to do this, or come to the house and give us a massage. That's there. Everybody's relaxed, and then there's candle burning and so on. And so, as simple as just having to burn perfume in your room, change your bed sheet. That's if you say, she's talking about people who have money. Let me tell you, masseuse is very cheap. there's a girl who can do for 10,000 and she massages your body, all the tension of carrying children and breastfeeding will go. So,
Oh,
but if it is that you don't have it, I don't have that 10,000. My God, we understand. Get perfume. Everybody's selling perfume these days, oil perfume. Burn charcoal, put some drops of it on that charcoal, and the whole room will smell very well. Lavender is a very good oil I would advise any woman should have in her room. Is relaxing, it relaxes everybody, all tensions gone. Then change your bed sheet, have a special bed sheet for that day. Perfume your bed just a little bit. When you take a bath, put a bit of body oil on yourself, just smell wonderful that day. Change your underwear to a different one you usually don't use, or decide to sleep naked, or that day set up water for bathing for both of you. Take a bath and make sure that it's a special soap, it smells nice, and it's just for that
mm,
occasion. When he sees the soap, he knows it is that day. So it's
right.
just, we overdo things by trying to be mommy this, daddy that, or this. It's too much. It's too much. It's simple. It's simple. You are finding a problem to have a day that is really special. Fix once a week, once a month. Somebody organizes that day. And on that day, that person is free to say, I want to suggest we do sex like this. We've not been
Okay.
doing this style. I want to try this style. I want to do this. I want to do this. Have a good laugh about it. If it doesn't work, laugh about it, and
Mhm.
so on. And you would see that sometimes you may not even end up having the sex, but just the joy of that intimate space where I am free to suggest something and do something about it. Um, don't be myopic. Like I said earlier on, please open your mind to the perspective of good sex. So let me tell you one of the things, the problems that women have in sex when it comes to such things is the fact that women judge themselves more than the men do.
Mm,
So the woman, you need to free your mind. People say this, that men think about sex all the time, that's why they want sex all the time. So I say this, how about you think about sex too? The day you feel like having sex, think about it. I challenge any woman who is listening. Try it and see. You've not been enjoying sex like before. Spend a whole day from the moment you wake up, start thinking about sex, thinking of how you like having sex, how you liked it, when you guys used to have sex, what you are going to do to him, what he's going to do to you. Spend the whole day. By the time you get to when you're having sex, you'll be amazed at how good your body will respond. Earlier you talked about women you were asking me a question about people who experience pain during sex and so on and so forth. That's one of the
mhm.
problems. Their mind does not go to their sexual organs. Our mind is connected to everything. Our mind makes us move our hand. You say, I'm going to go, you stand up because the brain sends the senses. It's the same thing with your vagina and your penises. Your brain tells it what it wants to do. So if you want to enjoy sex, you have to think about sex as much as you think about money, as much as you think about food and anything else. Think about sex.
Right. Interesting. Thank you so much. And also, thank you for all of the people we have online watching us. We have Sabo and Steven. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Sabo says, great outing. And Steven says, hi. Hi. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you're learning something. Please do well to like this video so that it can be recommended to so many other people. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's not, you don't pay anything for it. Please do that. Thank you so much. Yes. Wow, nice. Yeah, it is. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go. Let's go on. Trust issues and emotional baggages can also affect intimacy, right? Um, what advice can you offer to help couples rebuild trust and create a safe space for vulnerability?
So rebuilding trust is not as easy as saying I'm sorry.
Right.
It's a deliberate act of showing that you are new. So when you go to a prison yard, you see people say he's a reformed prisoner. You hear reformed Boko Haram, reformed. What they actually mean is that the person began to act like not who we say they are. So if, for instance, you cheated before and your wife is angry as you're cheating, or you as a woman, you are caught cheating, maybe online friendship or that, whatever it is, maybe people had a fight and you said something, a secret out or something like that, and there's trust issue, or your got involved in your fight and they took sides and someone is feeling pain. If you want to be trusted as a man, if you want to be trusted as a woman, you have to work at it. You have to, everything of yours has to be an attempt to restore the trust. The one way I know that a woman would trust you is if you are open with your finances. The fact that you tell your woman how much you earn or what you're spending does not mean she's going to ask you to give her the money. You should be able to say no, and your no means no. So if, for instance, you had a girlfriend and your wife finds out, it's time, and she never knew your salary, it's time for you to tell her your salary. And at the end of the month, have a breakdown, say, I'm going to give you this for this, this is for that, this is for this. That will begin to build her trust, because we all know that you need your money to spend on the other women outside. So that is the first place. If someone can trust you with your money, then they can trust you with anything. That's the first. Then if you go out, not because the person is going to die if you don't tell them, pick up your phone. I am at Ben's place. Sometimes just for the hell of it, say, Ben, take, greet her. Or I'm at Elizabeth's place, say, take. Or my mommy's place, take. Or just make sure that at every point in time you are accountable, that she can say he's at Ben's place and you are at Ben's place. If she decides to investigate, she will find out that you were there. Over time, the person will stop investigating because they realize that you have built the trust. So don't expect, because I told her sorry, my family told her story, you know, does not mean that the person must accept your sorry. You have to behave sorry. You have to act sorry. And don't water down somebody's emotions. If I'm hurt, it's my hurt to be hurt. It's my right to be hurt. And I should be allowed to hurt the way I want to hurt. So don't say, this thing that happened last year, she's still talking about it. If she's not over it, she's not over it. Post trauma problems is that the person doesn't leave that place. When you have you suffered trauma, the person does not leave that event. They stay there. They're stuck there. So it would take therapy or you being open for that person to leave that particular place. There are women who, the moment their husband doesn't turn up at home at 8, they start to panic. They can't talk to you because they can see that they're going to relieve finding out about that baby mama again, or finding about you. Do you understand? So you need to give that person the right to hurt, give the person space, build the trust. You have to earn it. You have to earn it. And if someone asks you for forgiveness, please feel free to give it. And you should put yourself in the place of judgment. The scripture says, as you have judged, so will you be judged. So as you are forgiven, so will you be forgiven. Don't forget, I always say this, we separate spirituality and our family, and I don't even know how we do that. But the same level of forgiveness you offer your spouse and your partner and your children and your siblings is the same forgiveness you're going to enjoy anywhere you go to, because they are still part of the plan of life for you. So please, when your partner asks for forgiveness, give them the forgiveness. If you may need time to get over it, but consistently remind yourself when you feel like not trusting them or bringing their past, say to yourself, I've forgiven them. The same forgiveness I've given it out to them. Remind yourself that you are on a path of forgiveness and you must forgive. So it's not just the person proving themselves, but you yourself have to offer it back to them as a forgiveness.
Oh, thank you so much. Wow, interesting. Cultural and religious background can influence attitudes towards intimacy. How can couples navigate any conflicting beliefs or values in a respectful manner so it doesn't look like you're being.
That's why I said, Siba, people do this a lot. So you're dating, you just jump into bed with someone while dating without knowing their cultural beliefs. So you get married. I know of a couple who got married, I think here in Abuja, and then they go to the village. He says they need to go for a reception in the village. Unknown to her, she had to go and swear before the village god that she was not going to be unfaithful. and they were like big church members in one assembly. So she gets to the village and she's asked to swear, and if she doesn't swear, that means that she's going to cheat. And also the husband, by tradition, he's not allowed to sleep with her anymore until she swears on that thing. So of course that led to a divorce, because thank goodness she didn't swear. I wouldn't recommend it. And
Mm,
it's not she's swearing not to spend his money. She's not swearing not to. She's swearing that she won't sleep with another person. By extension, what that means is that if you divorce the person, if you still sleep with someone, you're still going to get the consequence.
mhm,
That's what. So you have to have that discussion. What does your okay? So another example. This lady is a northerner, marries this man, and so they're doing sex, and she's like, "Okay, I'm going to ride you." And man says, "No, in my culture, God forbid, a woman will never ride a man. I'm the man. I stay on top." And she's like, "What?" And that is the position I like. So I was there as a referee, and I'm like, "Okay, what are we
oh
going to
my
do?"
god.
You see, he carried his culture into this marriage. And so I said to him, we actually what got us breakthrough was that he had to decide if it was a cultural man or was a spiritual man. But
Mm.
I mean, deep man, in deep man, he was like, no, God forbid, a woman cannot ride me. I'm a man. I'm like, okay. So it's good to have discussions. It's that, like I said, before you get married, we're freer, we're laughing. Take notes of these things, ask the questions, ask the thing, what is your belief about sex? Do you believe in having sex when a woman is pregnant? Such things, you'll be shocked. You'll be so shocked. Once a woman is pregnant, she, no, 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 no. Hey, my mother said in my place, would don't sleep with their wives when they're pregnant. 9 months, no sex. Are you mad? You know? So you have to talk about it. You have to. It's not something you leave. Just because you enter the bedroom and have sex does not mean that the person is not carrying baggages from their culture and their tradition, and very harmful ones. There are good cultures and traditions that we have in Nigeria, but we have very harmful ones that were created as a way to clip people and keep them in bondage. So you need to discuss it, and you have to choose what's priority. Am I a spiritual man? Am I an exposed person? Or am I a cultural man? Am I a traditional woman? Same with the women. Tradition is very good, culture is very good. But when it takes away someone's rights, opportunities, privileges without a sense of compensation, and one feels relegated, or taken for granted, or powerless, then a culture is harmful. A culture is supposed to empower you to do right, to live right, and to behave right. That's it.
Mhm. Right. Um, our time is far being spent. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to ask this last question and maybe give a bonus at the end if there's anyone. If you
Okay.
have any questions, please do well to leave it in the comment section before we come to the end of this program. Even when we come to the end of the program, you can actually leave it. I'm sure that Mrs. Hadiza Patrick-Otoro will definitely answer you in the comments. Okay. All right. So our last question is what are some positive outcomes couples can expect when they successfully navigate and overcome intimacy issues together?
Okay, so the first one is that you're going to have a more um, you have synergy in whatever you're doing, because like I said, if you're able to come home, and if you are coming from work as a man and you want sex, or as a woman you've spent the day, you want sex, you would know to fix up what needs to be fixed up and get everything ready. As a man, you come help her settle the house down, get the children in bed on time, and talk with her if she's the type who wants to be discussed with at the end of the day, or give her a foot massage, or have a bath or something, watch a movie, laugh or something. And see, when someone is relaxed around you, you're also relaxed. When you go to the house where there's mourning, people are crying, someone they've lost someone, you don't throw a party, do you? No. So I mean, it's just right that if the person is um if you're able to handle that person's issues, you've by extension you've handled everything. Your own self, you'll be relaxed. In your own way, you'll be relaxed. Do you understand? In your own
Mhm.
way, you will be relaxed. So how important this to me is, if you see yourself getting old, have you watched these videos where you see this old man trying to kiss his uh, old wife, how they're trying to
Yeah.
dance, how she's walking, he's holding her like my baby. It came from that place of intimacy, from that place in the bedroom where he says, you don't want it. She says, do you want that? And they have that conversation. Oh, I'm feeling this pain. What can we do about it? Let me take you to the hospital. Sits with the doctor, and she tells the doctor right there, both of them are having that conversation with the doctor as our problem.
Mhm.
He's having premature ejaculation. She goes in with him so that he has a support there, and is discussed it. They give him medication. She brings the medication and says, here's your medicine, because we're in this together. We're in this together. Some men are still in fear of sex because of the way it was introduced to them in the in their lives. So what you need to do as a woman is to make him relax, probably touch him all over, make him feel like this is not where you were taken advantage of and you didn't have a voice. Ask him what he wants. I know lots of women don't say, what do you want? They don't ask them because it's like, it's the man that asks, what do you want? No, you ask, what do you want? And go ahead and do what he wants if you can, or get at least the boundary to which you can tolerate it. It it is not just a thing for reproduction, which is another point that is really overwhelming and annoying. Is the fact that people are getting married, and the minute they get married, people are praying for you. May we come for naming ceremony in 9 months' time? May we? Why? That's pressure. That's pressure. That
A
is
lot.
absolute pressure. So if you take that prayer or that thinking away, what is remaining? Pleasure. So make sure that you realize that one day the children will go, you're going to be old. That intimacy you built in that bedroom is what is going to sustain both of you. Because you know what? You would come, he will come back, maybe I retired, he's sitting outside. Oh, the mango tree is this. Oh, the chickens are that. Oh, let me go and see my friend. You come back, here is your food. She goes and sits in one corner. These days, she'll have her TV, or she can take off and go to her children's home. And then you're calling meeting while she's gone. And then she comes and says, well, okay, what are we doing with each other? Because the intimacy in the bedroom, at some point, somebody is going to lose libido,
Mhm.
somebody's going to lose interest. So the other person who is still kept by that intimacy will help the person to go over that, and then they meet once again where they're having sex, and they're intimate because, well, we worked at it. So if you see sex as something you just do to have children and so on, and then you have girlfriends after they cover up, one day you're going to be an old man, one day you're going to be an old woman, and you're going to lack that intimacy that's supposed to keep you together as a unit. Two old people who are supposed to be enjoying life now and having sex the way their age would recommend or the way they want to have it, but because they're friends from that intimate part. I say this to you, please don't be carried away with the things you see people do. Display of affection, public display of affections, all kinds of mannerisms of people coming out to speak and talk about their relationships as if there's nothing wrong with it. How about you look at it in the eye of, I am sowing a seed, I'm growing a tree, I'm going to reap the fruit of when I'm old. Because that person, their old age, both of you would have to question the intimacy you built right now. You may think that when the children go, then I'll have time for him. When my children go, my sister, you're going to be in trouble. When you see 60-something-year-old man divorcing his wife, it's nothing. The children are now gone. Both of you are looking at, he doesn't even know you, but doesn't know you. He's like, you know what? I can't die not knowing this intimacy. Let me go and look for a young person.
Hmm.
Same with me. Of late, I've seen women in their 50s divorcing their husbands. When I had discussion with two of them, both of them, same thing. It was the intimacy that was missing. When they were having children and so on, and they were needing the husband to be there, he was like, take care of children, that's your job. And he was busy doing all kinds of activities outside. Unfortunately, one of them, a very, very person who has his own assembly, and the woman said, no, I can't take this. I want to find out what intimacy is. I want someone to love me. I want someone to have their time, the time for me. Now you're even old, you're having problems. He had cancer, and he's really having erectile dysfunction. And so she's like, what am I doing with a man who can't serve? He wasn't available for it when I was younger. Now I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like a babe. I don't need him.
Hmm.
As much as he tried to make the case, every time to make the case, I understood with her. He didn't sow intimacy into that life. He shouldn't be reaping it. She shouldn't be understanding. And what she should do at this point in time, be touching herself every day when you're having problems. You're already in your 60s. That's your problem, really. So build your
Wow.
intimacy. Build your intimacy now. Take your sex life seriously. Make sure you study, learn, have discussions, be good to each other, be kind to each other. Look out for how to give the person the best sex of their life. There are nights that you don't need to have, for you to have, what do you call it? You don't need to be satisfied. Yes, let that person have their night. If it means that you are exhausted and you just want your, let him have it. But every time the man is satisfied, you're like, I have sex. And the woman is never saying, oh, my brother, you are going into, the days are getting more and more wicked as we can see it. So let's sow what we want to reap. Sow intimacy into your relationship, especially in the bedroom. Make sure you invest in your sex life. Let it have a momentum. It will drop at some point because, of course, age and some other things and sickness and all that. When it picks up, let the other person remember how compassionate, how gracious, how wonderful you were in the moments when they needed you the most in the intimacy area.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so, so much. It's been an awesome moment with you. I learned a lot.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
so,
me.
so much. Um, I think I would like to ask if you have any final words or a general tip you would like to just share with us. Anything we need to use to spice up our sex life in the bedroom, anything, we'll be
Okay,
grateful.
um, the first thing I'd like to say is that please get over Kaya Mata. Get over it.
Okay.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The only time Kaya Mata works, and for people who don't know Kaya Mata, aphrodisiac enhancement, the only time it works is if you know what you want in sex. So a lot of women take um enhancers, the Kaya Mata, and then they get wet. The husband enjoys the sex, but they don't enjoy it. Because I've asked women, I asked them, and I said, okay, so at the end of the matter, how did you feel? No, no, he had the fun. I was wet, and then he came, and I'm like, so what about you? And it looks like, why are you asking me? Yes, what about you? So the men may take Viagra to help them last longer. But if you, as a man, you're going to last longer, make sure it's worth it. You can't keep hitting and hitting and hitting until she gets dry and everything. Stop once in a while, touch her, and so on and so forth. That's one thing I must say. Enhancers, aphrodisiacs are not magic. They're not magic. You also have to have a change in your mind. So a lot of the men were taught sex in secondary school. Have you had sex? No, I'm not. You just enter, you just hit, 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 hit. Do men like it when you hit, 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 hit? No, few times, the woman wants it like that.
They're not
You every
robots.
Yes, everyone wants to be must be considerate. Take your time. Let me know you are opening me up. You are touching me the right way. You are doing the right things to me. You know, and lots of women think that every woman knows how to have sex. No, men, nobody taught us. Nobody. Nobody. Parents are not talking about it. And the society, the girls go and say, the man is big. Then you encounter a big man, you're like, oh my God. And that's the end of sex for you because you don't know how to handle it. Change the way you think about sex. Sex for women, let me talk to women first, is pleasure. Let me tell you, I have a rule. I always tell people, and I've lived by that rule almost all my life. If I'm going to participate in sex, I must enjoy it. I must. Whether it's impromptu, whether it's I must enjoy it because the moment I tell myself, well, I'm going to enjoy this sex. Have you heard of women having orgasm? Why are you not
Yes.
having it? A lot of times it's not a problem, it's not a medical problem, it's just that your mind is where you were raped, is where your parents told you it was bad, somebody preached about it, somebody says, Mommy, water thing, so. A woman who likes sex is a prostitute. Yes, we agree, we are, but we're enjoying it. At least my husband does not think I am. Do you understand?
Right.
It's prostitute I enjoy. The prostitute, if you were, let me ask you, Naomi, if you are selling oranges, will you get ready to go and sell cloth?
No.
No. You get ready to go and sell oranges. So if you if you are a prostitute, you are going to sell sex. You have to think about sex. Okay, oh, somebody's going to sleep in. Tell me, I'm going to tell me I'm sleeping. What will I do? What will I do to enjoy? What will I do? You have to enjoy your trade. It's their business. That's why they enjoy it. That's why they come up with styles so they would enjoy it. And you know what? If you are selling oranges and the person say, "Oh, your oranges are beautiful, they are sweet," comes the second time. You always look for sweet oranges. So they make
Yes.
themselves make the men feel like I'm a sweet woman by doing whatever they need to do to keep their customer coming back. That's why they even fight about
Keep
customers.
coming.
It's comes a lot. So as a woman, to keep your man coming, you need to think about sex. Talk about orgasm. What is orgasm? Some of you don't know. So let me just quickly say, I see we have some few minutes. You know how you want to pee?
Oh
You know when you are
no.
want to pee. You go to the bathroom and sit down. For those of you who don't know orgasm is, you sit down, women, and then you pee. You feel this sweet feeling all over you.
The
That's
network
orgasm.
have started fumbling.
Oh my God. So that's orgasm. It's that nice feeling you get when you just pee after holding it for a long time. When you go and pee, that
Okay.
nice feeling, that's orgasm. So times it by 10. That's what you are missing every time you have sex and you don't have orgasm. So go and learn how.
Wow.
For men, please take your time. Sex for a woman is like massage, is like therapy. So take your time. The more you take your time to have sex, the more we consider you an expert, the more we consider you a lover, the more we consider you an exciting person. You getting in and getting out, if you like come from day to tomorrow, it's your own enjoyment. We didn't enjoy anything about it. And also, as a man, discover where your woman wants to be touched that would set her on fire and be ready for you. So that's my tip.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Oh my goodness. Thank you so, so much. I think I would like to say, maybe you have pertaining to women that have children.
Yes.
Yes.
See, as
What?
has children, you are talking about them settling, making sure they have good sex, right?
Yes.
Organize yourself. Organize yourself. See, once I have, like I told you, I studied way before I got married. Once I have my children, and I've had very sick children, I had very sick children. No excuse. Once it's 7, my children go to bed. To the point that when they got to boarding, my first son got to boarding school. 7, he was asleep. The school called us and said, 7, no matter what we do, he's asleep. I program my children to do their homework right after school. Because the moment you are born, I put you to bed. 7, I switch off the light and we're off. I find it funny that a woman's child will be up till 10 p.m. What's wrong with you? Then what happens to your husband? Your husband was there before the children. Pay attention to him. The fact that he's not talking does not mean, and these are the years that you're going to meet. You won't always be 25. You won't always be 30. You won't always be this strong. So now that you're strong, put the children to sleep. Don't even leave them for the nanny. Put them to sleep. 7, they've gone to bed. My kids, when I put them in bed, 7, I switch off the light. Nobody dares to come out. No matter how you cry, even my husband got to understand. No matter how you cry, eventually they'll lie down in their tears. I fed you. I give you a bath. I've done everything. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not going to come out. And then you have your own time. Relax, take a bath, rub your cream, take your time to rub your cream, just take your time, nurse yourself, watch a little bit of your program or series you want to watch, and then have time for your husband, discuss, talk, and everything. Most women don't even know how to eat because they're eating and child and children, and it's too much. It's too much. Arrange yourself. How I know you are truly a good mother is if you are able to discipline yourself to have time for everything, and your children will turn out to have more attention given to them when they know that we go to sleep by 7 or 8, we wake up by 4, 5 or 6, and then we can do devotion, we can emphasis, waking them, wake up, we're late, because they slept at 12 midnight. And so you have to let them sleep till very late. So my advice to you, organize yourself. If you are working, especially, organize yourself. At a point in my life, on Monday, on Monday was my free day, but I went to work. I had to wake up my children at 5 a.m. to get out by 6:30. Tuesday, I went to church. I went to work. They went to church. Wednesday, I went for rehearsal. Thursday I went to another church program. Friday I went to church and I led worship and then did other things. That is my job as a programs officer for an NGO. I also had to do that, and also as a wife. On Saturday I went for couples or premarital classes for people. I went for rehearsal. Then on Sunday I did 3 services. Then I came back and I did counseling. But I still was able to organize myself. What is your excuse? And I can still say we had our best sex then. So what is your excuse?
Right. What is our excuse? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. I am truly honored to have you here. Thank you so much for loading us with so much information. Thank you so much. You look so amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for having me.
Yes, ma. Sabo says the guest is loaded. God bless you, ma. God bless you.
Thank
Thank you so much. Yes, ma. All right. That makes us to come to the end of the video for today. Thank you so much for everything. I really enjoyed myself. I don't even feel like ending this video. I think we've spent about an hour. And coincidentally, we were red and we didn't even plan it. All
you.
right. Thank you so much. Send my regards to the family.
We'll do
Yes,
that.
ma'am. Thank
Thank you.
you. All
Good
right,
evening.
ma'am. Do have a nice day and have a nice rest.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.